Now it's time for the RTS Roundup with the lovely Nick and the cold, dead husk that is Simon Carpenter.
We should stop talking when the camera's on.
Should we do like a deep RTS Roundup?
It's Monday.
Monday on RTS games. They all suck. I mean,
Monday. So what?
well, okay, so
How much caffeine have you had?
None.
Wow.
So this week we'll be talking about Supreme Commander 2 and what's it? Command and Conquer 4? Command and Conquer 4.
Yeah.
Rubbish and rubbish.
Pretty much rubbish squared.
So a couple of weeks back when you first did this, we talked about the Command and Conquer 4 beta. And both Nick and I played that one, and we both didn't particularly enjoy it. It seems not much has changed for the release. They were fairly, close to release at the time of the beta.
About a month out, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's a very different game to the original Command and Conquers. It's a radical departure, you could even say, from the original formula, in that you control very few units and you've got to control the map, similar to Dawn of War 2. Unfortunately, they've kind of done a bad job of it.
Yeah, they went for emulation rather than innovation, I suppose. And the problem that they have is games that they were copying have also released sequels in roughly the same time period and have improved upon their original concepts, and they simply do it far, far better. And when you've got a game that played a certain way and has always played a certain way, and that's why you have the long-term fan base because of how it all worked, when you go and change it all, you're really taking a massive risk.
Yeah,
in this case, I think they lost.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't played any of the single-player game. I was supposed to ask Nick questions on that. And from what you said before, it sounds like it could be quite fun if you're playing it in co-op, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the game mechanic really relies on a co-op system of having other people playing the game, not the AI, because the AI is terrible. And you can't be offense and defense at the same time. You have to either be offense, defense, or support.
Yeah.
And when you're support, you can't really do an awful lot. When you're offense, you can attack, but you can't build base defenses, and so you get into this weird mechanic of you have to disassemble your current base and then start building a new one. But it just becomes tiresome because you can't play how you'd normally play that game. And they really should have said, all right, well, we want to do this sort of game, let's go make something else. Don't take Command & Conquer 4, get to 4 and then go, oh, we'll just change it all.
Yeah. So essentially I thought they should have developed a new IP for that one.
Yeah.
In terms of the other game, which we've got in the background here, which is Supreme Commander 2, Chris Taylor quit. Supreme Commander 2, in the original Supreme Commander, a lot of the game was based on the sort of the macroeconomics of the game, in that a lot of it was, as you built things, it was a constant drain on your resources. It wasn't a point drain, so you didn't click something and instantly 50 resources were spent. It was 50 resources spent over the course of the time to build that unit. And that was a point of differentiation from other games, in that you really had to focus on your economy. You couldn't go out and harass constantly. You had to be turtling and building your economy up and upgrading your resource structures. In Supreme Commander 2, they abandoned that mechanic.
Yeah, they've taken the Supreme out of Supreme Commander. They should just call it Commander, because all the really good stuff, all the enjoyable things that made the game for me something extra special was the size of it, the scope of it, and the scale. These massive maps and that sort of thing, and a really sort of technical economy. And they've taken all that out.
Yeah, it was a point of differentiation on that. In the first one, I mean, I remember my friends played the game, and you'd see them on maps that were 80,000 times bigger than something you'd see in Company Heroes or something like that. And it would take them half an hour to go across the map to fight people, so you would have a huge turtle going on. And while I didn't particularly enjoy that personally, I can see there's a niche for it. There's definitely people who are going to enjoy that kind of gameplay, and they did that admittedly reasonably well. But in this one, they've abandoned that to try and get more people into the series, and I think it's a case of they've just done a bad job of it.
Yeah, they've effectively dumbed it down. And for a game that was, the whole point of it was the technical pinnacle, and it was very complex, and then to take that franchise and dumb it down just seems really bizarre.
So I guess in that respect, it's yet another failure in Chris Taylor's record, in a series of Demigod, which was terrible, Dungeon Siege, which is acceptable, Dungeon Siege 2, which is terrible, Space Siege, which is terrible, Total Annihilation Kingdoms, terrible. Yeah. You're terrible, Chris Taylor, terrible.
Yeah, as soon as Cave Dog closed, that was it.
That was it.
Total Annihilation, still the best RTS ever.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay. So in summation, if you're going to buy an RTS out of the three you've looked at today, I think I would recommend Dawn of War 2. It's not your standard RTS, it's more a sort of real-time tactical game and multiplayer, and a single player it's more sort of, I guess, role-playing strategy.
Yep.
But it's good and it's fun and it's enjoyable, and these two aren't.
That's right. Or you could hold out for StarCraft 2.
Yes, you could hold out StarCraft, which I think everyone should do, actually. Good.